You're lying still in a quiet bedroom, the lights are low, your mind drifting between reality and dreams, and then bam. Your brain starts remixing harmless sounds into haunted horror. Let's dive into why your AC hum suddenly sounds like Satan doing breath work in your closet. Number 1. Whispering walls. You're finally in bed, cocooned under layers like a human lasagna, and just as you're sinking into sleep, the walls start whispering. Not full-blown ghost monologues, just that faint hum from the AC unit which, for some reason, your brain interprets as distant, sinister whispers. Wonderful. Here's the scoop: your brain is obsessed with patterns. Give it vague background noise, and it becomes a desperate detective trying to connect dots that aren't even there. This phenomenon where your brain turns meaningless sound into speech is called pareidolia. It's the same brain glitch that lets people see faces on toast or Jesus in a potato chip. Your auditory cortex wants things to make sense, even if it has to fabricate an entire whispering cult living in your drywall. Things get especially spicy when you're teetering on the edge of sleep. Your brain enters dream prep mode, where reality gets blurry and logic checks out. So now, instead of hearing the low hum of your AC, your mind conjures a full-blown dialogue happening in the ventilation system. And let's be real, there's nothing like mistaking mechanical noise for ghost gossip to ruin your sleep cycle. Number 2. Phantom footsteps. You're lying motionless, listening to your ceiling fan rock gently in the wind, and then you hear it. Footsteps. Real, rhythmic, murder-y-sounding footsteps. Sneaky ones, like whoever's making them took a workshop on how to sound ominous. Except, it's probably just the fan vibrating against something, or the house settling like a sleepy grandparent cracking their joints. But your brain? Oh, it's not having that. It thinks any repeated sound pattern equals incoming doom. That's your ancient survival programming at work. Back in caveman days, hearing footsteps that weren't yours was a bad time. Saber-toothed tigers didn't send invitations. So now, in your IKEA-decorated nest, your brain still panics like it's defending firewood in the Stone Age. It hears creak creak thump and goes full "we're being hunted" mode. Add in a little sleep fuzziness and maybe a recent Netflix binge, and suddenly your floorboards are starring in a psychological thriller where you're the victim and your potted plant might be an accomplice. Number 3. Breathing that isn't yours. You're half asleep, buried under your blanket like it's a medieval shield, and out of nowhere, you hear breathing. It's not yours. Not your pet's. It's the slow, deliberate kind, like someone is lurking behind your curtain just enough to make you question your life choices. Time to reevaluate not buying that axe-shaped lamp. Except here's the thing, it's probably your fan. Or your air purifier. Or the wind casually sliding its fingers across your windowsill like a romantic villain. These noises mimic real breathing patterns just enough to get flagged by your internal threat radar. Your brain, always on edge, hears a rhythmic inhale-exhale and immediately casts the invisible creeper in your bedroom horror story. Why? Because your brain doesn't like unknowns. It thrives on pattern recognition. And breathing is the kind of pattern it's obsessed with. If it hears something that sounds like breathing, it assumes someone is doing it. It doesn't care if it's just a glorified box of spinning blades, it will give it a personality, a motive, and probably a backstory. This paranoia ramps up when you're in that twilight zone between waking and sleep. Your brain's logical filters go offline, so your imagination takes over like an unsupervised child in a costume store. And bam, that slightly raspy fan noise becomes Steve, the ghost with seasonal asthma. Number 4. Sudden creaks that sound like regret. You're cozy, you're calm, and then crack. A single, sharp noise echoes from the floorboards like the house just remembered a debt it forgot to pay. Cue, your brain frantically imagining someone tiptoeing through your hall with questionable intentions and very soft shoes. These creaks aren't sinister. They're the architectural equivalent of a yawn. Materials like wood and metal expand and contract with temperature shifts. It's basic physics doing its thing. But your brain doesn't care. Your brain hears a creak and thinks, home invasion speedrun. Here's the psychological glitch: when we're in silence, we become hyper-alert. Our brain filters out less and starts interpreting every sound as meaningful. Combine that with hypervigilance, a leftover survival instinct from when unknown noises could mean predators, and congrats, you just turned your innocent floor into a suspect. Also, if you're the type who just watched a creepy show or read a spooky Reddit thread, those mental associations sneak into your audio processing. Suddenly, your house settling is interpreted as someone adjusting their stance before stealing your soul. Basically, your brain is treating home construction like it's trying to send you Morse code in horror. Number 5, the sudden whoosh of doom. You're just about asleep, when suddenly whoosh. A gust of air moves through the room like it's trying to make a dramatic entrance. You shoot up. Is it a portal? A ghost? A ninja? Nope. It's your AC compressor doing its thing, or maybe the fan turned slightly. Chill. But your brain? It takes that single whoosh and builds an entire horror plot. Because sudden noises in a silent room are like jump scares for your nervous system. Your fight or flight reflex doesn't care if it's airflow or an actual threat, it just wants to flip the bed and dive out the window. The science? Sudden shifts in air pressure trigger micro-reactions in your auditory system, especially when you're on high alert in the quiet. And when you're half asleep, your brain's logical filter is basically unplugged. So a subtle breeze turns into a menacing draft with violent intentions. You're not dramatic. Your brain is just an overachiever. Number 6, fan blades that sound like a helicopter trying to land in your soul. You turn on a ceiling fan for comfort. It hums, spins, and then the noise changes. Now it sounds like propellers chopping through pure fear. A mechanical rhythm, wobbling offbeat just enough to convince your brain that something huge and sinister is flying toward you. Nice. This is your brain doing what it always does, turning benign background noise into audio hallucinations because it hates boredom more than actual danger. The rhythmic pattern? That's where the drama happens. The fan's uneven tempo gets interpreted as movement, presence, intent. Also, if you've ever watched war movies or thrillers, your subconscious associates propeller sounds with conflict. So when your ceiling fan starts doing a cheap imitation of military aircraft, your brain grabs that memory and hits play. And now you're mentally preparing to evacuate your own room like it's a battlefield. Excellent sleep prep. Number 7, the click that sounds like a threat. It's always the click. That tiny, crisp, clean little sound, maybe from the thermostat. Maybe the fridge compressor. Or maybe Satan's elbow, depending on your mental state. Click sounds are sharp and localized. They travel in quiet rooms like sonic assassins. And because they're often sudden, your brain flags them as signs of intelligent movement. Click. Something's here. Click. It's watching you. Click. Time to start your will. Your cognitive system is hypersensitive to contrast. Silence followed by abrupt noise feels suspicious. It's like your auditory reflex is a grumpy librarian. What was that? Who dared interrupt the quiet? Must investigate. And there you go, sitting upright at 2 a.m., trying to rationalize why your refrigerator sounds like it's conspiring against you. Number 8, distant rattles that sound way too close. You hear a faint rattling sound. Maybe it's pipes. Maybe it's something outside. But your brain, ever generous, decides the sound is in your room, next to your bed, coming from something. Could be a creature. Could be a murderer playing with marbles. Either way, great, you're wide awake now. This one's a spatial distortion issue. Your brain sometimes misjudges distance and direction of sound when there's nothing else to anchor perception. Rattles that originate far away can sound disturbingly close when you're in bed with zero visual clues. It's like your ears are doing improv theater, badly. Bonus twist: anxiety amplifies your perception of threat. So a soft rattle isn't just a noise, it's proof that reality is breaking and monsters have chosen your closet as a starting point. Congratulations. Number 9, your own breathing. But weirder. Let's get truly meta. Sometimes the thing you hear and get creeped out by is your own breathing. Yep. You're lying there, chest rising and falling, and suddenly you become hyper-aware of the sound. It feels wrong. Different. Like it's not you. This is your brain doing self-monitoring. When things are quiet, you start hearing internal sounds: blood flow, heartbeat, breathing, and the awareness turns them alien. You breathe differently when anxious, and your brain notices that change and goes, whoa. Something's off. Better freak out in case it's possession. It's a mix of introspection and paranoia. Your body's doing regular stuff. Your brain says, that's suspicious. The loop continues until you're questioning whether you're even real, or just a haunted meat suit making moist noises. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future.